Thank you. Hi again. So my name's Amber Zeuner. I'm an associate attorney here at the Miller Elder Law Firm, and today joining me is one of our lovely elder care coordinators, Lisa Byers, who's going to talk today, along with myself, about some tips and tricks for caregivers and planning over the holiday seasons. Are you excited, Jaleesa?
I am, because the holidays are really a fun time, but it can be a lot for somebody who's a caregiver. But we're going to try to help you make it fun and enjoyable.
Yeah, so we can go into our holidays with a good plan and have an idea of how everyone can enjoy it to the fullest. So, one of the, just to get started here on our conversation, I think you hit a good point, Jaleesa. There's a lot going on in the holiday season. There's so many moving wheels. So I think one of the biggest hurdles we have is there are so many things we want to do everything. And that's not always possible. You got to make plans to realize there's no perfect plan, essentially.
Right.
And to focus on sometimes more of the more meaningful visits and events that you can go to make the most of it. So in your experience, what does that look like? What's the more meaningful ones that you find people really want to go to?
Yeah. So basically, because you're the caregiver, you cannot take all the responsibility for holidays. You talk to your family and you talk about what is something that we can do because you can't do everything. What is something we can do so that we have a good holiday and it's not so stressful on me as the caregiver? So, what I did was I said, what is the most important thing that we did during Christmas when we were kids that mom and dad enjoyed? And so
Yeah.
then we picked between our siblings, we picked which one was the that one that everybody liked. Not to say mom and dad are going to be actually doing what they used to do, but they can be there kind of helping you and guiding you. Um, like, what do you think, Mom? What do you think about this? We did Christmas cookies, and that's what my sister wanted to do. I said, well, I'm not making the Christmas cookies. I'm taking care of Mom. We're not doing Christmas cookies. And so my sister says, I'll make the cookies and I'll bring them and we'll all decorate them. And so that's what we did one afternoon. We sat down for a couple hours and we decorated cookies and just talked and listened to music. And it
Like a
seemed to
team
be,
effort.
yeah. And so then I could enjoy it because I knew I didn't have to do anything. They cleaned up. So basically, make a plan of what is important for your family. So talk to your siblings, talk to people that are coming. And if it's just you, like sometimes it was just me, it was easy because I knew what I wanted to do. So it was a relaxing Christmas. But when you have people coming, you need to talk to them. Maybe they could, um, I'll tell you one other thing. Do not offer to cook the meal. Do not. You're the caregiver. They need to do it. So if they don't want to do it, that you can order out. You can I had one time I had ordered out. You can go to a restaurant, but if you do, go earlier in the day.
Avoid those lines, especially on the
Yeah,
days of.
and it's also, remember, people with dementia, it's confusing to them if it's real noisy. So if you're planning on that, just realize that it might not go as well, but that's the choice. You just kind of make it through. Um, I found that going out was hard for me because as a caregiver, you had to do everything. You had to get her mom ready. I had to get her in the van. I had to get her to the place. And then, of course, there's other issues that I had. But some of them are easy and they like to go out and they're okay with it, and some aren't. So this is all based on what you, as the caregiver, know that mom and dad or whoever you're taking care of can handle.
And
So,
kind of what the day to day looks like, what's going to end up kind of falling on your shoulders the more you take on your plate as far as trying to help all of these events and make everyone, take the shoulder burden off them. But at the same time, you have your own designated responsibilities too.
Right. And I find that sometimes just simplify my holiday activities. Instead of doing everything that we used to do, we only did one thing. If you can't, like mom couldn't walk, so we got in the car and went and looked at Christmas lights. Loved that. She loved that. And she could look at Christmas lights. Um, until later, then she couldn't look at Christmas lights because she had gone blind. But music was the next thing. So I put the music on. You just find what is simple and what is easy for you as a caregiver. Sometimes you can have family members become the caregiver for the day. Boy, that would be lovely, wouldn't it? And then you can enjoy. Um, and sometimes you can't, but if you can, that would be wonderful. So talk to your family members. You can hire a caregiver for the day if you want. Hire a caregiver to help out. Hire your friends or have your friends decorate your house for the holidays so you don't have to do it and they'll do it. Simplify everything so that you are the caregiver and you're not responsible for the rest that's going on and you can enjoy that.
I know
Um,
something else that we talked about that you were telling me worked well for your situation is also making new traditions. If you have the one that really has been a part of the family for a long time, but you're not able to do that all the time anymore, and say that, the cookies are really the big one everyone wanted to do, maybe making a new tradition like you had talked about, if you want to see how that went.
yeah, and you could make a new tradition. Some people, I had a friend that made holiday hats and everybody wore a hat, paper hat. But, do something different, easy, simple, not something elaborate. Um, Also, the biggest thing is try not to travel during the holidays. My family is not close, so we would have had to travel to them. And I gave them the option of we could meet you somewhere and in between, but not to travel for long distances because it is confusing their day-to-day routine is now being broken up and it's a big burden and it is stressful on the person and the caregiver. So I kind of didn't, I did that one year, but after that I didn't. I basically had it at my house if they wanted to come. And I limited how many people were coming because if you have 50 people show up at your house, it gets noisy. And then you have to take usually what I had to do is take mom to another room to have quiet time because it was just too much for her with too many people. And then I sent in people to talk to her one-on-one type thing because it was just too
Holiday time.
noisy. Yeah. So there's just some of the things you can do. And, try to make it simple and try to make it something that it's not stressful for you. And some of us can handle a lot of stress and some of us can't. So
And
you
some
can
of us
also,
also have a lot going on versus sometimes there's other factors at play which do make certain, meal prep easier if we're already bringing in meals, or things of that nature. It's always going to depend on your circumstances and what it looks like and how we can simplify and maybe include new experiences as well.
right. Yeah. And that's basically our whole idea is the caregiver needs to take care of themselves. And so we're going to set you up by telling you you need to talk to your family because you're going to set up your day to be calm and as peaceful as it can be at holidays because we're always so excited it's a holiday. But you're going to have to try, and just, explain to them. And usually your family's pretty good about it. So, they're like, yeah, we understand you've had a rough year.
Yeah. And it's important too to know that you're important. You have a big role in helping your loved one, and you're important too to take care of yourself. So keep that in mind as we go through the busy holiday season and everything that comes with that. Julissa, I wanted to also go into the question about holiday presents, gifts, and things, generally we do in the holidays, the sharing aspect and what that looks like and how a caregiver can still have that tradition maybe, but also not feel having to do everything.
Right. And okay, my mom gave everybody a gift every year. Well, as a caregiver, I didn't have the time. I couldn't go shopping because I was with her all the time. So I went online and bought gift cards the first year. Everybody got a gift card. Then we decided, I talked to my siblings and I said, this gift card thing every year, it's getting old. So let's do this. Only kids 18 and under get a gift. And I had their parents buy them a gift, bring it to the house so that they could see, open the present and the joy with mom. Um, I also, talk to them about maybe we have like a pick names prior to, and then when we get together, we open the presents. So there's only one gift. It's not a whole bunch of gifts. So, I mean, those are some of the ideas I've used in the past, and some of my friends have because it's easier. And then my sister gave me a gift one year as the caregiver. She came over, cleaned the house, did all the cooking, did the cleanup. That was the best Christmas
That's
I
so
ever
sweet.
had. That was the best Christmas. I didn't have to stress over anything, did I burn the turkey or whatever. So I was like, yes, that's the kind of Christmas I want. So, don't be afraid to ask. And, they can always say no, but okay, I'll do something else. I'll order from somebody place else and have it delivered. Um, but
Also, just going off that point, Jaleesa, there's also a way for them to give back that way, especially if they're traveling, they're coming to visit you, they're not able to do some of those more hands-on or boots on the ground, close by activities or responsibilities. This is a way that they might be able to feel like they can give back as well. So certainly having that conversation and seeing, how other people can help out and chip in is important.
mhm, that's true. And there's other things you can do. Like one of my other sisters came and she gave me for my Christmas present a week that I didn't have to take care of mom and I could go on vacation, and that's awesome, But they didn't know that that's what I needed at the time. They just, my sister said, I don't have anything but my time. So she gave me the time. But
And that's
you know,
beautiful, though.
yeah, and that's the whole idea. And I'm kind of giving other people ideas of what to give the caregiver while we're talking about this because I know what I wanted, just a break. And it's not that I didn't love my mom dearly, but I knew if I didn't take care of myself, I wouldn't have been able to last as many years as I did as caregiver. Um, also
So,
noticed, yeah, go ahead.
no, you go ahead. Go ahead.
Also remember that the caregiver is taking care of them 24 hours, 7 days a week, most of the time, if they don't have helpers in the house. And it is a lot of work. So anything you can do to relieve some of that would be awesome.
Even if just a day, one or
Yeah,
two.
yeah, right.
So what about, I know we were talking about ways to simplify and minimize and kind of make the holidays less stressful for everyone involved. And a lot of what we've talked about includes bringing family in and getting those extra helpers. What if there are some conflicts? Because, the holidays, everyone comes together. There's always something, you have the siblings talking about their argument when they're 6 years old or something that comes up. What's your experience with that and kind of ways to simplify any family drama?
Yeah. And that's one of the most important things is there's going to be family drama. There's going to be, but try to make it not bother you as much. Prepare yourself. Make yourself like there's a bubble around you and it's not going to bother you when your sister says you always got everything as a kid and she never got anything. Um, Mom liked you better type thing. It's like, okay, Make sure that you put this protective bubble around yourself. And if it gets too much, hey, it's time to take mom in and get her cleaned up for lunch, or I need to clean her up and take her, or take dad. Dad needs to go for his walk. Just get away from it, because you're not going to solve anybody's problem or everybody's problem at Christmas. So know that this is something that's ongoing. It's been going on forever, but just take a deep breath and just let it go, because they're going to say what they want to say anyway. So just let it go and try not to let it bother you.
Yeah.
Because that
I can't help but not thinking of if you have grandkids, the Disney song, Let It Play, let it go.
let it go. Just let everything go.
What about another really big, important topic that often we touched on earlier, but our caregivers are just as important. So self-care being one of those top priorities, really, making sure that that's taken care of. I know we talked very briefly about how important you yourself are as a caregiver, but there's also those little things, the daily. Items. So what you're preparing, what you're bringing in. Um, Julissa, what do you think about that?
Basically, what I do is I make sure that at the holidays, I love sweets, because of cookies. I make sure I don't eat a lot of sweets. It has icing on it, but um, I make sure I don't eat a lot of sweets because that starts to drag me down. Try not to drink too much alcohol because that can cause other issues. And plus, you're the caregiver and you'll have a crash, if you drink a lot. Take your vitamins. That's a
Yes.
big thing. Take your vitamins, relax. I usually put on holiday music and just put my candles on and just sit and relax, because I know the next day everybody's coming. So the day before, I take that time, mom takes a nap, I'm relaxing and getting myself chilled and ready for the next day. So you need to do that. You need to take that time. And even if it was one time, I hired a caregiver for that day before so I could do my own thing and go to get a massage and all that. But um,
Yeah.
sometimes you can't do that. So just take those little bits of time that you have and take care of yourself. Because if something happens to you, what happens to mom or dad or whoever you're taking care of?
House of
That's a big,
cards. You're the
yeah.
foundation. You got to keep it up.
Yep. Yep. Take care of yourself.
And I think that's an important thought you said, because bringing in a caregiver is one thing, but also recognizing that there's a community of caregivers as well. You're not the only caregiver for your loved one, maybe in your house, but certainly not in your community, certainly not, in the certain places you visit. So maybe, I know we talked very briefly, connecting with that network, other caregivers who can give more ideas, maybe and insight into what's worked for them and things to try.
Right. And there are you don't have to go get in the car and bundle up your person you're taking care of. You can do this online. There are
Zoom is
many,
wonderful. It's what we're here today
yeah,
on.
yeah. You can Zoom with some friends that you met. There's caregiver support groups out there, and you'll meet a lot of friends. You'll make friends because y'all are in the same boat together now. And so they'll give you tips and what they did. And it's very, I don't know, it's kind of a relief that you're not the only one doing this. You're not in this alone, that there is other people doing the same thing and they're surviving, and you'll survive too.
Do you have
So,
any ideas, Jolisa, on where one might connect with some of these? There's like a Facebook group for everything now, it seems like, but are there other resources people can maybe look into for connecting with some of these caregivers?
yeah, there is on Facebook there is Facebook caregiver group. I think there's one in Gainesville, and there's some down south where in Marion County. There is also a support group that meets at the senior center, I believe, in Gainesville, and there's some that meet in Marion County at their senior center. So there's a lot of different places that you can look online and you can find them. I don't have anyone that I particularly went to or go to, but it's interesting to go online and just research and say, hey, I need a support group, and these people seem like they're friendly enough that I want to join with them. So,
Give it
I
a
mean, that's
try.
the other thing. Give it a try. That's all you can do.
And then if that group, you don't really click it off, there's many others out there. And that's why there's so many groups. It's different people, different lifestyles, and what may work for one person doesn't work for the next. So it's definitely a trial and error.
Yep. It sure is. And, the whole idea behind this is that you need to make it as simple and as calm as you can over the holidays, even though everybody's excited it's the holidays. You just need to make it as calm as you can for yourself as a caregiver. Don't get upset. Do some mindset work and set your mind that you are going to have a good holiday. You've planned it because we've given you some things to do to plan. You've planned it. You're going to have a good holiday, and you're going to let a lot of this other stuff that happens around the periphery of your holiday go. Let it go. Just just have a good time and enjoy these final moments or these last years you have with your parents or your loved one, because these are the times to make those memories. This is the best time.
Beautiful.
Mhm.
Yeah. And it's wonderful getting to have that time. It's a joy and a blessing. So you don't want to spend it cooking for everyone per se. Definitely get some assistance with that. But I think, like Jaleesa said, the takeaway here really is ways to make it less stressful, simplify down. Minimalization is a thing now, and this is one of those times of years. I think that you can go above and beyond, but maybe not for everyone. That's for different situations. And this is one we do want to simplify and just enjoy the time together. So take a look at what your plans are, see what works with everyone, and definitely go to those events. But the key is stress and particularly not being stressed.
Definitely. Yes.
Um, any other follow-ups, Jaleesa, that we haven't covered today? I know we talked about quite a bit.
Yeah, there's a lot, but I think most of it is just, I find that it's my mindset. Because if I can set myself up for success for the holidays, then everybody else around me kind of takes on that calmness I have. And we don't have a lot of,
Mindset.
yeah. So it's all your mindset. Set your mind to have a positive and get those negative thoughts out of there. Be positive that you're going to have a good holiday season with your loved ones.
And that'll make it all the more enjoyable.
Yep.
I'm thinking I messed up a Thanksgiving dish myself recently, but it was actually hilarious because we all came at it with a good mindset. I was told it was decent.
There you go.
Nonetheless, I thank you so much, Jaleesa, for joining us here today. And for everyone listening, I hope that some of these tips will work for you and your family, or maybe finding someone who has more tips and advice is always out there. There's always another way to do something. There's never a one shoe fits all. As I said at the beginning, this will be recorded and posted on our YouTube, as with every other webinar we do. And if you have any questions, now is the time. I don't see any in our chat at the moment, but if you have any, certainly drop them in there and we can talk about those together. Otherwise, that is our tips and tricks for caregiver planning over the holiday season. Hopefully, it goes smoothly for everyone and you have a beautiful time.
Happy holidays.
Okay. Not seeing any chats at the moment, so we're going to go ahead and wrap up then. And happy holidays, like Julissa said. Have a good one.